How's it going, my friends? Circa Survivor fanatics, NFL Survivor pool fanatics in general. I am Tony Farmer. He is Ryan Hogue, last man standing in the 2003 NFL draft, drafted by the Raiders. We're here to talk Circa Survivor. The entry counts just came out, hot off the presses. We'll be sharing them here in a couple seconds, and you'll get Ryan and I's reactions. I will share with you my final entry in Circa Survivor, what it is on. Before we get to that, though, I need to ask Ryan about his appearance on the floor. For those of you who didn't know, he won $20,000 2 weeks ago on Fox's The Floor game show. It's a trivia type game show, I guess you'd call it. Last episode, though, Ryan, cleaning supplies got you. I need the inside scoop. Were you bluffing about the cleaning supplies, or were you actually feeling confident about the cleaning supplies? Because on that episode, that lady was confident as hell. At least she appeared to be going into that duel.
I had zero confidence in cleaning supplies. And what people don't realize is that you film 2 episodes in one day. So I had no chance. Like, I had no idea that was going to end up being my category. And then once I had it, I had no chance to go and just cram. Had I gotten to the 3rd episode, I would have been able to have an overnight and, several hours to study. But because of that, you're just, you get a brief overview of the 100 categories right before the show, but it obviously was not a good category for me, and I was just trying to stay out of everybody's way. But once I got called out, I was like, oh boy, the best I could do was hope that she choked and got nervous in the service, but that didn't happen. And but ultimately, man, a great experience and a lot of fun. And hey, $20,000 richer.
$20,000. And for people who don't know, you've also been on The Bachelor. And what was the other show that you were on? Was it Bachelor? It wasn't in Paradise, was it?
Bachelor Pad and Bachelorette. Yeah.
There we go. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So we are going to talk Circa Survivor here. I'm going to go ahead and pull the entry counts up. Ryan is seeing these for the first time. I just got a chance to digest them literally like 5 minutes before we went on the show. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these up. Seattle is number 1. Not a huge surprise for that, but I am a little bit surprised with the gap between Seattle and San Francisco, personally. You'll also notice toward the end of this, 5 people got through with Atlanta. So congrats if you're one of those 5. They're rooting for carnage. And 1 person was knocked out on the Bucks. There were no picks. So we're down to 479 people overall. Only 23 on the Commanders. I'm really surprised to see that. I know the injury news that Brian Robinson's going to be a game-time decision maybe scared some people away from the Commanders. Also, Noah Brown being out as well. But still, only seeing 23 people on the Commanders, I think that's one of the biggest surprises here. And how about 33 people with the balls to trust the Jaguars here? We know now today, we know Anthony Richardson's going to be out for the Colts. We already knew Jonathan Taylor was going to be out. Ryan, what are your reactions to this these selection counts that we see up on the screen here?
Well, to pick up off your most recent point, I would say Jacksonville is, I don't feel as good about them if Anthony Richardson isn't quarterbacking for the Colts. I think they're more dangerous with Flacco, Indianapolis, than Richardson, and so that's an interesting pick. I think, to your point, that's ballsy. I think Denver versus Vegas Raiders, right? I think that's both teams 2-2, both teams, kind of a coin flip division game. Raiders have won the last 9 straight. Not that I take that into account at all, but for 33 people to go on a limb, I don't feel great about that. Seattle, I understand, like, the Giants seem like their entire offense is predicated around Malik Neighbors, and Malik Neighbors is obviously a special player.
He's going to be out, by the way.
I think Seattle showed that they're, maybe a product of playing against bad teams versus really, really good team. And the Giants are coming off extended rest. So that has me on pause a little bit for those teams. They're coming off of a short week versus a long rest. I'm a little hesitant to go with Seattle with that one. I think San Francisco, Arizona, you brought up some great points last week, that Arizona always plays San Francisco tough. It's a division matchup. And so, can you bring that back up real quick?
Yeah, totally. I got you.
I'm really surprised that 5 people got through on Atlanta. That to me was pretty ballsy.
5 people
And
were sweating it out
a
on Thursday night
game.
football, overtime thriller. 1 second on the clock in regulation in order to get it to overtime. 5 people were 1 second away, Ryan. We'll call it a half a second away from having their entries extinguished.
Yeah, a missed face mask call away from
That too.
getting toasted. I've told you all along, I think Kansas City is on upset alert versus the Saints this week. 16 people are going to go bye-bye. And Chicago, 74 people on Chicago. And again, I don't feel like you can watch that team and feel really great about that offense, even against a Carolina team that's been more down than up this year. Andy Dalton revenge game, as you love to say. But yeah, some interesting things. That's the beauty of this contest. I wouldn't be surprised if half of the entries are eliminated going into next week, just because it's such a crapshoot.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be wild. You mentioned that Chicago game. They're calling for like sustained winds of 16 miles per hour and gusts in the mid-20s. That could certainly be enough to disrupt field goal kicking. With sports betting, we always say like over 15 miles per hour with the wind is where you start to pay attention, maybe start to lean more toward unders. And so in the windy city of Chicago, keep an eye on that one. So for our London game, we've got 3 people, excuse me, not 3. Where is that game here? 5 people on the Vikings. So if you're not on that one, all the 475-ish people will be rooting for the Jets first thing in the morning for this Vikings game in London. And by the way, they're calling for rain in that game. That stadium kind of is covered, but there's also some openings in it. And so it's possible that we could see some weather conditions in the London game as well. I got to ask you about the 33 people on Denver. I know you're a Raiders guy. You do the pregame show for them. It's a team that you were drafted by. You follow that team closely. What do you think about Bo Nix matching up with the Raiders here?
I think anytime you pick Denver this year, you're going to be sweating it out until the fourth quarter, because their offense is not predicated on building big leads, right? They're much better if they're playing from ahead, right? If they become one-dimensional, they're toast. And, Bo Nix really is death by 1,000 paper cuts. He's going to dink and dunk you to death. And that really plays into the Raiders. As long as the Raiders tackle well, this game is going to go into the fourth quarter 100%. Unless Denver somehow gets, 2 safeties like they did against Seattle in week 1, or, a scoop and score and a special teams kind of score. Their offense really doesn't scare anybody. And with Max Crosby being back in, I believe that he is going to play. I just think that their D-line is going to give, that offensive line some issues. And when that's the case, then Bo Nix is going to be running around, and he just once he doesn't see his first read, he just tucks it and starts running or checks it down every time. And he just doesn't instill a lot of fear in defensive coordinators.
Yeah, so true. Ryan, one of the reasons I love having you on this show, and I think it makes our show unique, is because you have that player's perspective that sports bettors like myself don't necessarily have. We haven't been on the field. We haven't had the pads on. So I want to ask you about something related to this 49er game. The Niners are going to be playing in Levi Stadium, the hottest game in the history of that stadium. I don't know if you saw this in the news, but the 49ers at the last minute requested, hey, we want to wear our all whites, because theoretically the sun is not going to be attracted to that color as much, be a little bit easier on the players. And they didn't get their all whites, but what they were able to do is switch their pants from dark colored pants, I think they must have been the gold ones, to the white colored pants. Does that make any difference from a player's perspective whatsoever? I mean, are they just playing mind games with themselves or what?
No, I mean, I understand why they would do it, right? I mean, if you had the opportunity to switch, of course you're going to want to switch, because you're going to cool off. You might have one guy that ends up going to the tent. You already seen, Trent Williams this year have to go mid-game in order to get an IV and things like that. And I think it's going to be, 95 degrees or something like that. The thing is, Arizona, they play in that every single day, right? So that's not going to be an issue for them. I think it's much ado about nothing. And so, yeah, it's nothing I would consciously think about, like, oh, what color are my pants? What color is my jersey? No, I might go get an extra drink of water on a timeout. That's about it.
Your point, though, about Arizona practicing in this and used to these conditions, I wonder if that could give them a little tiny edge in this game with the hot temperatures. We'll see. One thing I do know, and full disclosure here, so my last entry in Circa Survivor is on the 49ers, and I was excited to see, I think I got a little bit of good news. You never want to root for players to get injured in the NFL, of course, but Trey McBride was downgraded to questionable. He had the concussion. Apparently, he got through the concussion protocol, then had another injury concern. I think it was a rib, maybe. Had another injury concern midweek. So as someone on the 49ers, that was certainly good news for me that the Cardinals will be potentially maybe down one of their top weapons in Trey McBride. So probably 80, 85 other people are celebrating that one there with me. Back to that Seattle game real quick, Ryan. You talked about how with the injury situations in this game, the Giants are also going to be not only Malik Neighbors, who you mentioned, but the Giants are also going to be down Singletary, it looks like. I think he's doubtful. So that's two big pieces from the Giants that they're going to be losing. And then Seattle is going to be getting back several guys. Nwosu might be playing in his first game. Leonard Williams, like 2 or 3 guys who didn't play last week on defense are going to be there this week. So it's like bad injury news for the Giants, good injury news for Seattle here. And so it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out in Seattle. I think you and I are on different sides of this one in terms of just where we feel about the game. I think this is going to be a pretty comfortable game for Seattle. I know you disagree with me there, but we'll have to see how that. I'm sure if I'm wrong and the Giants are leading, 14-10 in the third quarter, I'm going to get a text from you telling me how right you were and how wrong I was on that game.
Well, hold on now. I didn't pick. It's not like I'm out here saying that the Giants are going to win outright. But, Singletary's rushed for 220 yards on the season. That's 55 yards a game. He's been more effective in the passing game, right? They might miss him there. But, as we've seen, like the NFL, the next guy up, especially at the running back position, is real. I mean, look at McCaffrey, the best running back in the league, arguably, right?
Yeah.
Mason steps in. He's the number 2 running back in the league. Like, it's not a big deal. Malik Neighbors is a big deal. And you got guys like Wan'Dale Robinson, Darius Slayton, guys that are going to really have to step up. And, I think, this could very well be a 34-10 kind of game, but I wouldn't be shocked if it's 17 all, in the third quarter, late in the third quarter, and you and I are texting, bantering back and forth.
So I agree with you and disagree with you about the running back thing. You're right. Like in the NFL, when a running back gets hurt, it's often not the end of the world because running backs, they're kind of replaceable, right? But who is the backup in New York for Singletary? It's Tyrone Tracy Jr., who's an undrafted rookie who has 12 carries for 29 yards on the season. That's a 2.4 yards per carry. Certainly a small sample size, so we won't kill him too much for that. But Tyrone Tracy Jr. is not a household name. And I guess I didn't realize that the Giants had that little depth at the running back position at this point in the season. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can get any sort of a run game going against that Seattle team.
Don't hate on the Purdue Boilermakers, man. Come on.
I didn't even know that's where he went to school. I'm not a big college guy. So
do we have any comments?
No comments yet. We have quite a few viewers who are watching right now, though, live. So if you guys have questions for Ryan, whether it be about his appearance on the floor or whether it be about Survivor, anything that we've said so far, if you have any beef with things that we've said, let us know. We did get a comment, Ryan. I'm going to put you on the spot now. Someone from our last show, which was episode 10, didn't like the fact, it must have been you, I don't think it was me, didn't like the fact that you threw some shade at the Bears defense. I think he quoted you and said, "What do you mean the Bears aren't very good?" or something to that effect. I don't remember you saying that.
Bears defense, and I have them on all my fantasy teams. That's the last thing. I wouldn't talk trash about the Bears. That's all they got is defense.
Yeah, I don't remember saying anything negative about the Bears either. So I'll have to go back and watch that episode and see what it is. We do have a comment here. Bob Renfro, both have an upset special. So just in general, for the NFL slate this week, Circa Survivor aside, who do you think's on upset alert right now?
Well, first of all, I hope that's Hunter Renfro's dad because that would be awesome. Hunter needs to find a team soon. I've said all along that Monday Night Football. I really think that the Saints over the Chiefs. That's Sunday night or Monday night. I think it's Monday Night Football, right?
Yep, it's Monday.
I like the Saints to win outright against the Chiefs. I don't know. I have this feeling, and your number one receiver being out, your number one running back being out, those are big deals. And I think people are recognizing that L'Jarius Sneed is a difference maker. And the fact that they lost him to Tennessee like that, Saints are going to be able to hurt them, anytime they can throw opposite Trent McDuffie. So I like the Saints coming off 2 bad losses in a row. They are going to beat the Chiefs.
Wow. And I don't know if you got a chance to see the injury report. It doesn't look good for the Saints right now. Several offensive linemen on there. Taysom Hill's going to be out. You're not worried about that at all. Willie Gay is going to be out. No revenge game for Willie Gay. You don't care. All right.
Who's yours?
I think I'm going to have to go Bengals. Bengals against the Ravens. Divisional matchup. They need this win bad. I mean, I say Zach Taylor's job is on the line. I don't think he'll get fired if they lose this game, but it's going to be on the short track to firing if they lose this game. They're used to starting slow. They usually turn it on around this time in the season. They're getting healthier. They're going to get BJ Hill back. They're going to get several pieces back on defense. And I kind of like the Bengals in a buy low spot here. So my upset special will be Bengals over Ravens. Let me look here. I don't think anybody picked the Ravens this week, did they? No, I don't see any Baltimore's up there. But that KC upset that you talked about there, Ryan, 16 people on the Chiefs, despite the fact that the Chiefs are a Thanksgiving team, despite the fact that the Chiefs are a Christmas team, and despite the fact that the Chiefs aren't super healthy right now. Pacheco's out, Rashee Rice is out. That's interesting that even though they're going to be getting Pacheco back and have holiday implications, 16 people are picking the Chiefs. But what I think this speaks to, Ryan, is people getting a little nervous.
Yeah. Lack of confidence that it's going to go the whole way.
Yes, that too. The idea that this may not go the whole way, but also I'm scared. I've seen all of this train wrecks happening these last couple weeks. I'm going to go to safety. The Chiefs are safe. I can trust Patrick Mahomes. I can trust the Chiefs. I can trust Andy Reid, even though it's against the Saints team that we've seen put up 40 points this year. I think that's why so many people here are on the Chiefs. And let me say this too about Circa Survivor, Ryan. I know this is your first year doing it. There's a percentage of these 480 people who are left who don't know the rules for Thanksgiving and Christmas. I promise you there's at least a handful of like 4 or 5 people. And that was evident last year, the year before that. You get to these holidays and you look at, who these people have used, and they've got hardly anybody left for Thanksgiving. They got 1 team left for Thanksgiving, 2 underdogs, something like that. So that kind of gets me excited. Go ahead, people. You go ahead and use up the Chiefs. You go ahead. You keep using the Chiefs. I'm okay with that for sure.
Tony, did the person with 8 entries make it? Are they still alive?
Yeah, that dude is still alive. He got through with all 8. And I'm actually going to update, as we're talking, I'm going to try to update my phone here because I want to jump onto Survivor Atlas. One of our friends, by the way, Survivor Atlas, you should absolutely follow them, survivoratlas.com, @SurvivorAtlas on Twitter. Really quickly after these selections come out, they update their website, and you can actually see who everybody's on. So I'm going to see if this is updated here on my phone as we're talking here. Anybody else you think could be on upset alert, Ryan?
Anybody else?
Yeah, any other teams this week that you could be on upset alert? You think? What do you think about that Steelers-Cowboys game Sunday night? You have strong opinions on that one?
I am convicted that the Steelers are going to win that game. Although I'm not. I really think that Russell Wilson is going to end up being the starting quarterback at some point. I'm just not. Even watching them against the Giants, I'm talking about the Cowboys, I'm just not impressed with what I'm seeing. They're going to struggle to score against a really good defense in Pittsburgh. My one other just gut feeling tells me that Minnesota is going to lose to the Jets. I think they're going to get beat up front, and they've been so used to playing with a lead. London changes. It's just kind of we're super comfortable. We're moving for it. I feel like the Jets are going to get an early lead. It might be like 13-3 or something at halftime, and it's going to change how the Vikings play, and then the Jets defense is going to be able to really get after. Last time they played, they shut down JJ Jefferson, and when he's shut down, like, that offense looks really different. Hawkinson's coming back for the Vikings, not this week, but I'm excited to see what that offense will look like when he's there. Obviously, Addison adds a wrinkle, but yeah, I really like the Jets to upset. I mean, it'd be a small upset, of course, but anytime it's a neutral field, different things. You got Aaron Rodgers, who's been there, done that, so we'll see.
If you guys enjoy hearing this type of breakdown, you'll want to check out our episode from Wednesday. It's actually usually on Tuesdays. We made an exception last week. Our Wednesday show, episode 10, we do a breakdown of every single game, a lot more in depth. Ryan, I was able to pull up Survivor Atlas. So check this out, guys. This is what Survivor Atlas looks like, by the way. That top guy, NFL Wise guys, he's got almost all of them. 6 out of 8 on Chicago. That's what those C's represent at the top.
The other 2 on Seattle?
2 on Seattle.
Okay.
That's ballsy. 6 out of your 8 on Chicago.
And that's just what some people do, right? They fade a team, and people have faded Carolina all year, and that's a bold strategy. We'll see if it comes through. Speaking of bold, I do want to say, Tony, I believe these are your last fleeting hours in your 30s. Happy birthday to you for tomorrow. All right, we're hours away, minutes away from you entering a new decade. And so on behalf of Last Man Standing and everybody watching, happy birthday, buddy.
I appreciate that, man. The 49ers won't lose on my birthday and knock me out of Survivor on my birthday tomorrow, right? That would just be absolutely cruel. That would not be okay. But if everybody out there is watching right now, instead of being out drinking and celebrating my last night of being 39, I'm hanging out with you guys, so please smash that like button. That can be your happy birthday gift to me. Smash that like button, share this episode, pass it along. Go visit Survivor Atlas. If you guys want an idea of what these other people with 4 or 5 entries are doing, see one person with 2 Chiefs, 2 of their 4 on the Chiefs. See a lot of Seattle. That's not a huge surprise. How about the dude in second there, Ryan, with 1 on the Dolphins? Wow. 2 on the Niners, 2 on Seattle. He's spreading them out a little bit.
Wow, Dolphins.
And then I see it Jacksonville here as well.
That is stones right there. But
and then there's your Minnesota Vikings. See that purple M down there at the bottom for that guy who's got 4?
You gotta, and that's 2 on Denver. 2 on Denver, 1 on the Vikings. That's 2, like, both those games I think are coin flips. So, but that's the beauty of this.
Yeah, good feedback here from Joseph. He says you need to start using a browser. Joseph, you're right. I'm the most untechnically savvy person in the world. I feel like I'm 60, not 39, going on 40
years older than me. You can tell. So, that's 2 Niners. Did I hear a Niner?
Oh, I think Joseph was correcting me. Mizzou doesn't have 2 on Chiefs. That's 2 on the Niners. I think I saw the red. No. I was talking about Allison's boyfriend with 2 on the Chiefs. Look at those 2 Ks down there on number 5. Allison's boyfriend has 2 on the Chiefs there. That's the one that I was referring to. So that's pretty interesting to see that 2 holiday teams. I wonder if Allison's boyfriend is aware of the holiday implications there. I'm sure they are. I'm sure they got it all figured out.
All right.
Anyways,
Ryan, I see that you're dressed up for your last night in your 30s. So we should probably cut this short and let you go enjoy it. Hopefully Tracy has something fun planned for you guys tonight.
I had a wonderful dinner tonight. Tracy made me a delicious dinner, lamb quesadillas, absolutely delicious. So, it was good. Thank you for the birthday love, folks, in the chat. I appreciate it. But this show that we do on Saturday nights is a lot shorter than the one that we do on Tuesday. So go check out that episode if you guys are enjoying this one. Please share it and enjoy tomorrow. Enjoy the early kickoff tomorrow from London. Most of us will be rooting for the Jets here. Good luck to those who are on the other side of it with the Vikings. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the weekend.
We'll see you at our next episode, which is, I think we will have a special guest, time TBD. So stay with us on our announcement of what time that's going to be.
Fantastic. Oh, and our special guest, by the way, if you guys are new to this show, we had Bryant McKinney, former Vikings Pro Bowler on this show, and Marcus Robinson, former Bears receiver. So we've had some good special guests so far. We got another one for you next week. Take care, guys.